The desert was silent, painted in shades of bronze and blood. The sun had begun its descent, casting long, ghostly shadows across the valley of dust and rock. The operation had been simple on paper: clear the village of enemy presence, secure the northern ridge, and await extraction. But what command hadn't predicted was that 6 of the most lethal enemy snipers in the region had taken position across the valley. They were ghosts, invisible and deadly. The U.S. recon unit, Falcon 9, had been pinned down for over 5 hours. 3 soldiers were already injured, 1 was dead, and morale was breaking. Every time someone lifted their head, a bullet whispered past. The men were trapped by the precision of unseen shooters who knew the terrain better than anyone else. Captain Reeves had called for backup, but command's response was grim. "No one can get close enough," they'd said. "Those snipers are too good." Then came the voice on the radio, calm and measured. "This is Sergeant Maya Trent. Send me the coordinates." The silence on the line was broken only by the distant echo of gunfire. Reeves blinked. "Trent? You're not supposed to be in the field anymore." "Command's orders," she replied. "But I'm 10 clicks away and I've got eyes on the ridge." Everyone in the unit had heard her name. Maya Trent, the woman who'd once held the record for the longest confirmed shot in the division. They called her Hawkeye Angel. She'd been injured in a previous mission, retired early, and disappeared from active duty. No one expected her back. But now her voice was steady, confident, and cold. Within minutes, Maya had crawled into position on a broken hillside. Her rifle, a custom M2010 enhanced sniper rifle, resting on a mound of gravel. She adjusted her scope, dialed in her windage, and scanned the horizon. Through her lens, she saw it, a glint, subtle but distinct, coming from the farthest ridge. She exhaled slowly. Target 1 acquired. The first shot cracked through the dusk like thunder. One of the Falcon 9 soldiers, who had been praying under his breath, looked up. What was that? Reeves held his radio tightly. "Trent, report." "Target 1 down," she said softly. 5 remaining. No one spoke. They didn't need to. Hope had just been reborn in that desert valley. Maya adjusted her scope again. She knew these weren't just any shooters. They were specialists, likely trained mercenaries who had been paid to hold the ridge at any cost. They worked in pairs, overlapping angles, making it impossible to approach without being detected. But Maya was patient. She had been trained to breathe with the wind, to time her shots between heartbeats. Through her scope, she tracked movement. A shifting shadow behind a broken wall. Her finger rested on the trigger. 1 breath in, 1 breath out. The second shot split the silence. 2 down, she whispered. Reeves clenched his fists. The men around him looked at each other in disbelief. Whoever was out there, this woman they had only heard stories about, was systematically taking apart the enemy's strongest hold. But the snipers were no fools. After the second kill, the remaining 4 went silent. No muzzle flashes, no movement. They had gone to ground. The air grew heavy, and the world seemed to hold its breath. Maya wiped the sweat from her temple. The temperature was dropping, the wind was shifting. She adjusted her position slightly, her knees buried in the dirt, eyes locked on the landscape through the fading light. "Come on," she whispered to the unseen enemy. "Show me your fear." Minutes passed. Then a flicker, a faint reflection off a piece of glass. She dialed her scope again, compensating for the distance, 480 meters. She inhaled slowly, the sound of her heartbeat sinking with the trigger pressure. The third sniper never knew what hit him. 3 down, she said. But then the valley exploded. 3 simultaneous rifle shots rang out, and the dirt around Maya erupted. They had her location. She rolled to the side, pulling the rifle close, crawling behind a fallen boulder. Bullets whizzed inches from her face, shattering stone and sending debris into her eyes. Her radio crackled. "Trent, are you hit?" Reeves shouted. She coughed, blood on her lip, but her voice stayed level. "Negative. Still in play." Her breathing steadied. She switched to her secondary scope, scanning for muzzle flashes. Then she saw it, a puff of dust from a rocky ledge. Her next move was instinct. She fired twice in quick succession, both shots echoing like drum beats across the barren valley. Silence. Then her voice returned. 5 down. The last sniper was clever or terrified. Either way, he had vanished. The valley was still again, except for the sound of distant wind cutting through the rocks. Maya scanned every corner, her scope moving inch by inch. 5 minutes passed, nothing. Then a movement, not from above, but below. Her pulse quickened. The last sniper wasn't on the ridge. He had circled low, flanking toward the valley floor, trying to get behind her. She shifted positions, crawling backward to higher ground, silent as death itself. She found a new perch about 30 feet up, giving her a full view of the terrain below. Through the dust, she caught the faint silhouette of a man moving between the rocks, his rifle at the ready. Her finger brushed the trigger. She waited until he stopped, adjusted his aim, and in that frozen moment, she fired. The shot echoed across the desert. The target dropped instantly, his weapon clattering against the stones. Maya exhaled, her hands trembling slightly. Then she clicked her radio. "All targets neutralized." Reeves's voice came back, almost in disbelief. "Say again?" She smiled faintly. 6 snipers eliminated. Time of engagement, 18 minutes. When Falcon 9 finally advanced, the valley was clear. The bodies of the enemy marksmen lay scattered across the ridge, each hit with surgical precision. 1 bullet, 1 kill. The men found Maya still on her perch, dismantling her rifle with quiet efficiency. Reeves approached her slowly. "Command called them unstoppable." Maya shrugged, wiping dust from her cheek. "Command needs better definitions." The soldiers around her couldn't stop staring. To them, she wasn't just a sniper. She was a myth made real. The woman who had walked alone into hell and cleared it with nothing but patience and skill. As the helicopters arrived to extract the team, Reeves turned to her. "You ever think about coming back full-time?" She smirked. "I never really left." Back at base, Command reviewed her footage. 6 confirmed kills, all between 1,200 and 1,600 meters, all within 18 minutes. The general leaned back in his chair. "She just did what 3 squads couldn't in a week," he muttered. And somewhere in the barracks, her name began to spread again, whispered in mess halls, printed in reports, spoken with awe and pride. Maya Trent, the woman who hunted ghosts and never missed. If you're reading this on her brave stories, don't forget to subscribe for more stories of courage and resilience. Tell us where you're watching from in the comments. We'd love to know how far her bravery has reached across the world.